Hi, hello everyone, and welcome to the episode number 8 of an idea to an OutSystems app. My name is Bruno. I'm not Bazinga, so Bazinga is my dog. The only reason I'm using Bazinga it's because I don't want to be liable for anything that is done here. So anything wrong, it's on him. Um, I'd like to say to everyone that the channel here had vacations for 3 weeks, 3 long and good weeks, and now we're coming back. I must say I'm a little bit rusty, so please bear with me. I'm going to do my best to return to these weekly sessions where we start with an idea and now we're going to turn it into an OutSystems application. So hello, so to everyone that managed to join, thank you very much for being here. I hope you enjoy this at least as much as I do. I want to recap what we've been doing here. So we're building an application that is the personal paddle coach. So the goal for this application is to help people that like this sport paddle, racket sport, to register the matches they do, and in the future help them prepare for the next matches, giving them useful advices on how they should behave on the next match. So we're building this as a mobile application in OutSystems. As you can see here on the screen, we have already start building this app. We have the register match details already being built, so we can define. We are answering some questions that we are selecting from options. Another option also is to it would be to answer, in not a multiple option but text. Okay, so let's start and let's see what can we do. So to start, and since I'm a little bit rusty, let's start with something simple. So if you've noticed, there is here on the header, there is no way to go back, right? So there's no way to go back to the home screen. So let's work on that. Let's jump to Service Studio, okay? And in Service Studio, we have the Register Match Details screen. On the Register Match Details, on the menu icon, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that this menu is a back menu action, okay? It will change as you will see. And also what I need to do is I need to set some CSS in order to be white, okay? So let's first publish this here, and let's see what we need to do to make this white. So let's start with something real simple, okay? And let's open here the home page, okay? We can see that the application has been updated. Clicking on Register Match Details, and well, we have the back button, but it's dark, right? Okay, so let's try to write here some CSS, okay? And I think, well, we can use the class app menu icon, okay? And in this case, it's the menu back, okay? This is a dot menu. It's because it's a class menu back. And let's say that the color here, let's use the variables, the CSS variables that we have that have been defined by OutSystems UI. Okay, and let's say that the color neutral 0. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this from here, and I'm going on Service Studio to the CSS to the theme, and this is something, well, let's say it's in the header. So let's add that here, and well, that part is done. So let's just publish this real quick. So on the that's a very good question. What's on the menu for today? Well, on the menu for today, what we are going to do is we are going to configure. If you remember from other sessions, we have a back office where we define these questions and the multiple and the type of answers that we have here. So what we are going to do it's actually to do that, but not using the server, the data on the server, but we're going to use that data is going to be stored in the mobile device, and it's going to use the local tables that we have on the mobile device. So we're not dependent on what is the server. Okay. So for a lot of mobile applications, use this strategy. It's helpful, or it's mandatory if you're going to have an application that needs to work offline when you don't have internet connection. But in this case, I think not only it's a good exercise, but it's the questions. It's something that's not going to change every time. So it makes sense to have that stored on your device, and just whenever there are changes, we are going to do refresh that data. Okay. So that's what we have for today. One more thing that I want to do is see the information that we got here, or these options. If you remember, or if not, let's recap. We had the back office, right, where we could define those options. So for the questions, so let's look. We have the kind of match did you play on order 1. So this one has order 3, that's why it was not showing. Okay, let's put order 2. And you can see that it's multiple choice. Okay, and the multiple choice has the options, and the options have here the options, the value. So what appears, the text that appears, the value, and also the URL. So one of the things that I want to also to show today is how to use a CDN. Okay, so we use CDN to distribute static content. Okay, in this case here, as you can see, we are using images that are on our application. So if we look for them here in Service Studio, we can see that they are here in the images. Now what this makes is we have a binary. The binary is being added to the module file. So whenever we publish in new versions, this module will be getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So one of the strategies is usually to remove those images from the main module, or the module that has the application, and create a specific module for that. Usually we call it the resources module. Now, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to use that CDN that will cache this content and distribute it in an optimized way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show how to do that. So you can find a CDN like Cloudinary. Okay, I'm just going to log in. I already had an account here. I'm going to just log in as Bazinga. And you can see that this service provides, well, a free service of storing and distributing files, but it has a lot more. So it allows you to, with specific parameters in the query string, you can resize and crop the images, you can replace backgrounds, you can do a lot of things. So it's something interesting for you to explore if you're interested. But what I want to show you is how I'm using the assets in the folders. Okay, so I created one folder here for the PPC, the personal paddle coach. Okay, and I'm gonna upload. So the images that we're seeing here, these images, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove them from the module, and I'm going to put them in the CDN and reference them on the CDN. Okay, so what I'm going to do is it's to do that. So I'm going to upload. Okay, I'm going to upload from the assets of images that I have. Okay, so I'm going to have, I think it's the mix, the tournament, and it was the regular game. Okay, I'm just gonna upload this. So, and as soon as I upload it, I already have an URL, and if you check the URL that I have, it's already been distributed. So it's already has a live URL that you can use. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the tournament here. I'm just gonna edit this, And instead of using this, I'm going to use this. Okay. Now on the mix, let's have the mix really quick. The mix, it's this one. Okay, on the mix, I'm gonna change that one. And last but not least, on the tournament, I'm gonna get this one. I'm gonna get my regular game. Oops, no, I messed it up, sorry. The one I'm missing is the regular game, right? So the regular game, it's this one. And what I'm going to do is just, again, replace this, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the images from here, okay? So the mix, regular game, and tournament, I'm just gonna delete. Deleting this will make my module lighter, okay? Although these were small images, the idea is to show how you can do it, okay? It's a matter of practice. So let's see the final result. So hopefully nothing wrong will happen. And what we have here is, I'm just gonna, just gonna refresh my application. And now I'm just gonna register match details and what kind of match did you play. And I've got this here, okay? Working exactly the same, but if you see, the image, it's actually coming from the CDN, okay? So the CDNs are optimized to distribute the images wherever you are. So it's a good idea to use these services to distribute your images. Okay, so next what we're going to do is work on that part of getting all the information that we have on the server, right? These questions that you've seen here, right? So the questions that we have here, the options, we're going to take that from the server and store it locally in order to use it, even if without a connection to the internet. Not the use case, but the idea here is to not be always doing requests to the server. Okay, so let's look at the application here. Okay, and let's just recap a little bit. So we have the register match details. It has this get next question. So if you see, we have a query that will get the next question that we have. Okay. And in this case, what we're going to do with after that next question is we're going to set the current question. We're going to change the prompt is what appears in the balloon here of the coach. Okay, this, and then we are going to animate that message to do that typewriter effect, and after that we have the show options, and the show options will show the different options that we have. That is a multiple options control, or in this case, a text area and a button, so we can write the files. So we have Miguel here saying, I think that with Cloudinary we can even manipulate the size and format of the picture through URL, but I might be confusing service. Yeah, that's correct. So taking a look here, so you can do that. So for example, you can resize and crop. Okay, so you can do that here, but you can do that on the URL. So there's a place here. This is the studio, but where is that? I've seen it already. There is something that you can even test here. What would be the parameters in the URL, and you could see the difference of the image. Now, whenever you are doing that, you are spending credits, okay, and you have some free credits when you create a Cloudinary account. Okay, so you need to mind what you're doing, but just for hosting and getting the images here, I think for now that all of that part is it's free. Okay. Let's see if this here. Okay, as rated collection. Oh no, this opens the same. Yeah, this opens the same. The same. The same. So I need to explore that. But yeah, you can do that because I've seen on the documentation. Okay, so going back at here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this a little bit. Okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to have a multiple questions. Okay. Um, what we're going to do is okay. Well, I'm seeing a comment here. So okay, it's useful to fetch the image for thumbnails, and for the image, it's better detail. Thank you for the tip on the costs. Last time I used to was paying it. For yes, yeah, exactly. When someone different than us paying, it's maybe we don't read all the fine prints, but yes. So we should use even if we're on mobile. The practice says that due to retina screens, if the image, for example, will occupy 100 pixel, what we should use is 200, so twice the size of the pixels in the screen, because of the definition and resolution. But more than that, we are just wasting bandwidth, so we're getting a very big image, and then after that the browser needs, or the application need, whatever is rendering needs to downsize the image, so all the information that you got with the big image will be lost. So it's better to create adequate images to what you're going to use than just use a big image and just expecting it, to be resized everywhere. So that's an important part to optimize applications, in this case mobile applications. Okay, so I'm going to change here a little bit this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create here the set. So the questions, as you can see, we're going to get one question, then another question, and another question. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create here a local variable that's going to be the questions. So questions, as you can see, it's a list of questions, okay, and this variable here will gather all the questions that we have. Even in the future, as you can see, this kind of a wizard, we can navigate forward and back, going next and doing a back. So it's useful to have that information in the screen and not always be fetching for that information. Okay, so let's use this variable here. Okay, and so I'm gonna get the next question. So on an after fetch of that question. Okay, so one of the things that I need to do is, so I'm gonna just check if there's a next question. Okay, so it means that if what I got, right, because if you see, I was always looking for the order plus one index. So if the ID here it's not null, okay, so it means I have a next question. So has next question, and if I have, let's just swap this. So I'll continue doing whatever I need to do. If not, I should do something like sending the answers to the server. But for now, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna show the message saying, something like done. And I'm going to just end here the flow. Okay. Okay, cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this question to my questions. Okay. So I'm going to make a list append. Okay, I don't have list append here. So let's just add it really quick. So okay, system list append. I'm going to list append. So for the questions, the list, the element that I want is the one that returns from the query. Okay, so I'm just gonna here, let's say add question. Okay, and the next thing I need to do is have the question. Okay, so I already have that question here, and I'm gonna just remove. I don't want the current question. I have the prompt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also need to create the current question index, and on the current question index this will be the index of the question that I'm in. Okay, so on the register match details, okay, on in here, let's see what I've got here. So if show options, if okay, the current question, where do I have the current question? Yeah, current question. No longer, I should no longer have the current question, okay? Because I'm going to use the questions. I'm going to use this list, and I want to do the list of the question index that I'm currently on, okay? So let's just fix this real quick. So this is going to be the question, right? The question with the current question index, okay? Current question index needs to be an integer. This is going to be the questions. Okay, so this will allow me, I'm doing this because this will allow me in the future to be navigating through the questions that are on my list in a very easy way. I just need to change the index, and I will be in the question that I want. Okay, so let's just do this real quick. Okay, so I've got this, and now well, my index it's 0, right? So what I need to do also is whenever something ends, right, whenever I click something, I need to increase the current question index, and also I need, you know, to move on to the next one. So when we have a multiple options, we have these multiple options selected. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to set the variable current question index to current to current question index +1. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I'm just gonna head here so I know what this is doing. Okay, and I'm just gonna, you know, hide my options because I don't want this to let's set the show options to false. Okay, because I don't want to be showing anything. So while I'm refreshing the query, I don't want to be showing any options there because I don't want this to be not synchronized. Okay, so I got this. I got this here, and whenever I get the message that is you know, from the text and not a multiple one, I'm just gonna add also this here. Maybe I could do something a little bit different here, right? When we are already copy and pasting text, probably there's something better that we could do, right? But let's leave it for now just to see if this works. Okay, so again, what we're going to see, it's nothing changes, right? It should be working the same time, the same thing, the same way it was working. But now instead of me looking for the whenever I'm selecting the question, the new question, I'm adding it to a list, and that's what I'm going to use. So let's just see if this is correctly working. Okay, so let's go here to home, and let's just push this and see what's going on. So let's say register match details. Our index 0 is out of range. Okay, cool. So this means that we are getting something that doesn't exist yet. So what might be causing that? So let's take a look of what we're doing. Okay, so we are getting the next question. Okay, current index is 0. So we want to get the question. Oh, it doesn't make sense, right? Live debugging, yeah. So this is the question. No, this is the current. No, this is the current. It's the current question index. Sorry. current question index. Sorry. So that was what was I doing wrong? So the current question index should be 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. It's going to get me the question that is number 1. Then it's going to do the as after fetch head here. It's going to prompt and it's going to animate and it's going to show. Okay. So let's see if this is what's happening. Okay, so let's refresh these, and here we go. Let's click register match details. Okay, it has loaded and it's loaded the options, and now I click mix, it got mix, it's gonna get the next question. Okay, and whenever I do something, it got that and it gives me the done. Okay, so this is all working, okay, as it was already. Okay, what I'm going to do next, it's actually, I want to create something here that is, so whenever we're asking the questions, you know, as you see, this looks like a wizard. So let's do really quick before using the local storage or the local tables or the local entities. Let's just add here really quick a visual cue that this will be a wizard, and the wizard has steps, and you need to know how many steps you're facing. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add here some dots, right? The dots will be the name of the questions, and the colors of the dots will indicate whether the question has already been answered or not. And when you're in the current question, it will have a different format than a dot, so we know that that's the current step in the wizard that we are. Okay, I'll show you what it looks like. Maybe explaining is not that easy. Okay, so to do this, what I need to do first is to get the number of questions that I have. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fetch more data. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to query the question table, and what I'm going to do, as easy as that, I'm going to just add a count here to get to know how many questions do we have. Okay, now what this gives me is a number, right? And this number, it's something that it's helpful to build the the number of steps in the wizard that we have. Okay, so to do that, I want to create, you know, a list that will, depending on the number of elements in the list, create the dots that represent each one of the questions. Okay, so to do this, I'm going to create here a new variable that I'm going to call navigation items. Okay, and this is going to be as simple as a list of integer. Okay, now after I get the questions, okay, so well, I don't know if we're gonna have 50 questions. Well, 500, let's put the max record. On after fetch, okay, let's create here a new action. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to populate this list of the navigation items with the number of elements corresponding with the number of questions that we have. Okay, so in this get questions, get questions on after fetch. Okay, I'm going to create here a local variable that I'm going to call the count. Okay, and what I'm going to do, or I'm going to just call it, you know, the index. Sorry. And what I'm going to do is a possible loop that could make an infinite loop. Okay, very dangerous. So what I'm going to do is if the index, okay, it's smaller than what I got from the count, okay, from my query, okay, if this index it's smaller, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna just, you know, list append on my navigation items that value of the index. Okay. Now after that, what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna, you know, say that the index here, it's my index plus 1. Okay. So I'm gonna just increase my index here, this variable, and then I'm gonna shut down, close the loop. Okay. So let's imagine we have two questions, right? What we have here is the index. So so index is 0. 0, it's bigger than, is smaller than 2. I'm going to append 0. I'm going to say that index is 1. Index is 1 smaller than 2. It's true. I'm going to append the 1. Index is 2. 2 is smaller than 2. It's false. And then it's going to go up. So it's something, well, I'm doing this. This could be a little bit risky because it could generate an infinite loop here. Yeah, it's something that you need to do. I've shown in another example, it was for the timers, you know, to have a kill switch. Okay, but in this case, this is something a little bit simple, right? You don't have so many moving parts. So let's do this like this, and we will have that structure of the animation or navigation items. Okay. Now after that, I want to create those dots in the screen. Okay. So I'm just gonna come here really quick, and I'm gonna, you know, on before the, you know, before all of this, right? Before the ifs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add here, you know, I'm going to add here something, a container. Okay, I'm just going to call it navigation wrapper. Okay, so I need a wrapper so I can wrap everything around this. Well, let's call it first this. Let's call this the anchor. Okay. Now after this, I need to have inside a wrapper. Okay, navigation wrapper. So inside the wrapper, then I'm gonna have what is involving my navigation items, my navigation items. Oops. And then inside, what we're gonna have is a list. Okay. And this list here will have inside each navigation item. Okay. Container. We'll have the navigation item. Okay. Now the list will bind to what? To the variable, the variable navigation items that we have created. Okay. So now this should create an anchor, then a wrapper, then the navigation items, and inside each one of these will be a dot. Okay. So let's see this in action. Okay. Let's just publish this. And let's see what we get here on the screen. Okay. Okay. Let's refresh the application. Let's click here on the register match details, and well, we should have something here, right? Okay, we have the navigation anchor. We have the wrapper, we have the items, we got the list, and then inside the list we have 2 navigation items. Okay, cool. So let's start working here some CSS. Okay, on the navigation anchor, I just created anchor because I want this, you know, to have the position relative, so we can make this this navigation wrapper, you know, with position absolute, so it can float here a little bit in space. Okay, so let's say that in this case we want the width to be 100%. Okay, and let's say that it will be stuck to the bottom. Okay, bottom. Okay, let's say 0 for now. Okay, now we have the wrapper here. Now we have the items. Okay, and the items themselves, they will be what I want this to be. It's I want it to be margin 0 auto. It's a way to, you know, to center whatever it's in the inside. Okay, and now for each one of these navigation items, what I want to do is I want them to have, okay, let's start building this. Their width is going to be 10 pixel. Okay, the height is going to be 10 pixel also. Okay, let's give it a background color of, let's say, white, to see where okay, they are stuck in there. Okay, let's give this display, let's say, inline, you know, block. Okay, so they are inline like this. Border radius, because I want them to make them really round, I'm gonna say it's 50%. Okay, and let's say I want to make them you know, not that close, so my margin left will be 10 pixels. Okay, cool. Okay, now this is like this, but I don't want this to be exactly like this. Okay, I want this, like I said, I want this to be centered. So this is 0 auto, but on this, let's say I just want to have this, you know, like a display. Okay, let's see, grid. Okay, cool. Now the bottom here, it's 0, but I wanted to put it a little bit up. So let's say it's var space, let's say M. Okay. Okay, it's looking better now, right? And on the navigation item itself, I think this is this white. It's not a good one, right? Because we want them to look a little bit, at least the ones that haven't been selected yet, something like this, right? Something more with some opacity. Okay, so maybe like this. Okay, okay, cool. So let's just open here the inspector. Let's just, you know, remove all of this. Let's get over here, and on here, let's, on the text answer, card button, drawer. Yeah, let's put it here. Let's say that the navigation items. Okay, let's separate all of these. Okay, let's have them that here. Okay, cool. Now that we have this, what we need to do is to change a little bit the look and feel of each one of these, depending in what is the status that they're on. Okay, so let's say that's probably 3 status. Well, the normal status the status that will be this one. Okay, then the one that is active, right? It's the question that you are answering, and the one that is already been used. So this should be different because it is active, and whenever I answer that, the second should be the one that is active, and the first one should be different because it has already been answered. Okay, if this makes sense. Okay, so what we can do is actually change this a little bit. So like I said, I have my navigation style here. Okay, so I'm gonna add some different classes depending on what happens. Okay, so let's start with, okay, so if the navigation items dot current, okay, if it is, this one is the current question index. Okay, this means that this one is the one that is active. Okay, because it's the right index. Okay, now another option is if the navigation item dot, oops, you know what happened? Okay, this for this if. Okay, so now if the navigation items, if the current row number that we have, okay, if their row number it's smaller than the amount of questions that we have, you know, on our object, then it means that this has been navigated. If not, let's leave it like this. So let's check again. So if the current, remember that we have the different, so the indexes are inside the navigation items. So if the current equals the current question index, it means it's the one that is active. Okay. Now the last one means that, so for each row number, if they're smaller than the number of questions that I have, it means this one has already been navigated. Okay, so let's see how we can change the styles. Okay, so let's say for the navigation navigation item. Okay, let's say for the one that has been active, right? What should we do? I think probably what we can do is let's make it bigger, you know, instead of 10, let's say it's 20, and let's say that the border radius could be, instead of being 50% to be round, we can give it just 10 pixel. Okay, and the background could be the variable color neutral 0. Okay, now for the one that is just navigated, okay, I think we can make it round. Navigated, I think we can just leave it as it is, but change the color, you know, to white. Now to give a cool effect, since we're changing, you see, we're on the active, on the navigator, we're changing the border and the width. Okay, so so it looks cooler. Let's say that we can have here a transition, and this transition will be all properties in the CSS for 300 milliseconds, so it's a fluid transition and with ease. Okay, so let's try and see what happened here. Now for the first question, it should have the first one active, and then when I move the question, it should just, you know, slide with smoothness to the next question. So let's see if that happens. Okay, so I'm gonna register the match details. So I got this one here bigger, and when I click this one, okay, it just changed also the color, because it's something that's already answered. Okay, so just to see if this is all working really quick. Okay, let's just add here a new question. So the question could be, I have here from the tests, did you play indoors or outdoors? Let's just say it's the third question. It has multiple. Okay, and on the options, let's just add some options here of indoors or outdoors. We can have, you know, indoor, the image URL. That's interesting. Maybe we could, you know, really quick just upload here. Let's see if I'm in the right, no, I'm not in the right folder. Let me just upload really quick. Where is the indoor and outdoor? So it's outdoor and indoor. Let's just open this. Okay, it's already here. So I'm doing indoor, it means inside, right? So oops, I'm gonna go up here. I'm just gonna add this image URL. Now I'm gonna add a new question that's gonna be outdoor, and really quick. Let's look at the outdoor field. It's this one, and let's gonna save. And now we just need, you know, to come back here. We just need to refresh this, and as you can see, now we have a new question, and it is, you select the mix, you have something here, you can, you know, type something, and then, okay, well, that's cool. Okay, so, okay, all the engine is now working, right? We have all of this, so let's go to the part that we are going to put this in the local storage. Okay. Now there are some accelerators that we can use. Okay, so the first thing is to do is create the concept of the of our questions and options right here on our application. So on the local storage, we're gonna add entity, and instead of just writing it, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna add entity from database. So as you can see, allows me to select one entity from the server side. I'm going to say it's question, and I'm gonna say that I want everything. I'm being warned, right, to don't mirror the server data model. This is very important. But in this case, I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to change a little bit the question type. It's a label. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna transform this into text. Okay. So the local, it has the content, it has the order, and it has the question type. And question type it can be text. Okay. Because this one will be the corresponding to this one. That only has a label. Okay, so label 50. Here it has here it has a text of 50. So I'm even gonna change to question type. Okay, cool. So I have the questions, right? And also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create here the options, right? So I'm going to get my question ID, my label, my value, and my image. Okay, cool. So I'm going to get all of these. And now what I'm going to do is here on the interface. So instead of using these queries, okay, I'm going to do this differently. So instead of having a question list, I'm going to have a list, but of local question. Okay, cool. Now on the get next questions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fetch data from the local storage. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the local question, and what I'm going to take is the local question order equals, remember, our current question index plus 1. Okay, so this one is the get next question. So let's even call it get next question. Of course, it will rename it to 2, but it's okay. And also the get question. So I'll need to get the get questions. Okay, so I'm going to fetch the get questions. And I'm going to get this. There's no filter here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the count. So whatever I'm doing on the server side, I'm actually doing it in the client side. Okay, so get questions. Okay, cool. Now that I have this, well, what I can do is get next question is going to be just 1. And I'm going to do exactly the same. So on an after fetch, I'm going to get next question. On after fetch, well, the question is just a count, so I can get only 1 row. I'm just going to get questions on after fetch. Okay, cool. Now let's just delete this one. Let's just delete this one. And now, well, let's rename this. Let's rename this also. Okay, less errors, less and less errors. And now we have question. Okay, we have question here. We can change this to question. Okay, and through change will actually help me here. So I have no longer the problem of the question. Now on the question type ID, it doesn't exist because I changed it to question type. Okay, and here we go. Okay, so now that I have, so as you can see, there's nothing here on the server side. I'm just going to publish this, and you can see that this is already now looking at the local tables instead of looking at the server. And what do I mean with this, right? So I'm just going to refresh the application. You can see it's working. And now when you click register match details, there's nothing to do, right? So I hope you were expecting this, because this is the right behavior, right? I'm looking at the local tables for data, and I have no data there. So that's where now this enters the interesting part of probably of all the session. What we need to do is to create a mechanism to sync data from the server into the local tables, okay? Because it's the way that we get. So instead of whenever we are, going question by question or option by option, it's something that we don't need to do is getting back to the server. Okay, so how are we going to sync sync that data? Okay, there's something really interesting here. That is, so there's an action here that is the data sync. Okay, so what we can do is trigger an offline data sync. That what's going to do actually, it's going to run this offline data sync action that's going to get data from the server, and then we need to do our logic, to do this into the and push the data that we have from server side and put it on the client side. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. So we have the local here, and as you see, when I right click, there's always some accelerators in Service Studio that allow me to make this faster. Okay, so there are different ways to sync data, right? There's a case where you have data in the server and you just want to push the data for your application and use it, the read-only. And there's data that you're going to, generate or create in your application, and then you need to sync that data back to the server. That's the read-write method. Now, for this case right now, what we need it's the read-only, because we're just going to get the questions and the options from the server and store it and just use it here. Whenever we get the answers, and then we're going to sync that back to the server, maybe we need another thing different, but for now, let's just use the read-only. Now, when I click the read-only, if you see some stars appearing, but the sync local questions have just been created, okay? So it has created a logic that is going to get all the questions that I have in the server, and then it's going to clean whatever I have here and write the local questions. So I need to do the same for the options, okay? I have this, as you can see, it's not being used. Okay, so on the offline data sync, when it's being called, what I need to do now, it's actually, instead of calling this here, I'm going to call the sync local questions and then the options. Okay. And now what I need to do is I need to trigger this in order this to happen. Okay, so what I'm going to do is on my home screen, okay, on my onReady that I already have. So I'm going to do all of this, right? But I'm just going to do the call of the trigger offline data sync. Okay. So what this means is that this is run asynchronously, so it's not gonna stuck our application. It's just gonna run all of that behind the scenes and fill all those tables without us even noticing. Okay, so let's just publish this, and let's see if this what happens here. Okay, let's just really quick load this here. Okay, so we have run the home page, and now when I get the questions, you can see I've got a lot of questions here. So I was just expecting the 3 that we have in the server. Maybe we need to debug it a little bit, and now we need to change something here because in the way this is done. Okay, so as you can see, it's not showing here anything, and it's because of the concurrency. What I mean with this is, let's just take a really quick look here. So on the register match details, so the queries run in parallel with the page lifecycle. Now what happens is when you go to the server, you take more time. Now that we are looking into our local storage, whatever we got, okay, is coming, it's going to be faster, and there is a problem here between synchronizing some of the logic that we have and the data that we got from the query. So instead of running this get next question at start, I'm just going to run it on demand. And what I'm going to do is on my on ready, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call it, okay, the next question. So with this, I'm removing that part of the concurrency. I know I'm doing this in parallel, which it's worst for performance, but it assures me there's no problems with our concurrency. Okay. Now I'm just publishing it, and one of the things that I want to show, so we have a lot of questions here, right? I was just expecting us to have 3. So you can inspect what's inside the database. So inside the database, if you look here on the index, so application IndexedDB, you can come here and you can inspect what we have here. So we have local questions. So we have some tables here, okay? Some with different names. So in doubt, okay, what we need to do is just, let's clear the site data. Okay, this will delete everything. Okay, and let's just run this all once again in a new way. Okay, so I need to log in again because everything that I had from the application just got lost because I just erased it. And now, well, it's getting me more information that I got. Okay, so let's take a look again. What's going on in here? Okay, so we have 3, right? But here we have, oh, maybe I'm doing something wrong here. So on the get questions, okay, I was doing it wrong. So I was doing a count on the local question option, not on the questions. That was the problem. Okay. So local question. Sorry, rookie mistake. Okay. Now we got this. Let's just check why it's not appearing. So I'm gonna get the next question. The next question is being written. I'm doing here the prompt. I'm just animating this, and on the animation, it's just calling this. Okay, so let's just publish this and see what happens. Okay, so let's just clear this really quick. Let's clear the site data. Okay. Let's log in. And now let's click here, and we now have the only 3, but we still don't have the options. Okay, so let's try to figure out what's going on here. So we are here on the on ready. So on the get next questions, it's only on demand. We just call it, right? Then after that we get the on data fetch. We had the question there. We have the prompt. We're gonna animate the message. We should be getting the information that we got from here. And then the show options. And the show options should set this to true. What's this? That's for that. And let's see how is this being done here. So show options, it's true. Multiple questions currently in extent. It's not multiple. Okay. So let's debug this and see if this is entering the show options. Okay. So let's try to run this in debug and see what's happening here. Okay. Let's log in here. Okay, after that, let's just click here the register match details. Okay, and it's getting the show options. The show options is now true, right? It is. Okay, it's passing here again. Okay, okay, so what's going on here? Okay, I wasn't expecting this. The show options, it passed here, so the show options, it's true. So if the show options is true, the next thing is it the question type multiple or even text? So let's look at the data here, if there's anything wrong that we're doing. On the local question, let's look at an example. Oh, okay, question type is not being mapped. Okay, so that's the problem, right? As you can see, the question type in everyone, it's empty. Okay, cool. So now the problem means that on the synchronization, I was stargazed, with the stars, and let's look at the offline data sync. So when I get the questions, well, actually the fault was on me because I was the one that changed the data type to text of that variable. So the question type, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to map here to the question type ID. Cool. Oops, no, not this. Sorry. Okay. So this wasn't being mapped, so that's why it wasn't, appearing. Now we have a culprit. Nothing like a live debug, right? Again, a little bit rusty from coming from vacation. Couldn't do this, just by heart. Let's just click here really quick. It's now showing the options, right? Okay, now here it is. Okay, so let's start with the debug, and now let's just really quick clean the storage again. So it's something that whenever we're doing this, you need to take attention. So let's just log in real quick, and let's here we go on the mix. Yeah, I just dodged the bullet here. It's not working, so I got the mix. I was focused in each point. No. Or I'll focus. No. Yeah, the play indoors or outdoors. It's here. Okay, cool. So now this is working. Okay, finally. Well, one last thing before we end. I think we probably noticed this that is isn't it something that we are doing that is whenever we are doing our data sync, as you can see, every time I run the home page, I'm deleting all the questions that I have there, and I'm just creating them all again. Okay, so I don't think this makes sense. Okay, well, not make sense, this works, right? But I think we can do this in a better way. Okay, so to do this, we have to make a little bit of change in the way we're storing things in the back office and in the way we are doing the data sync. Okay, so we need to come up with the concept of the last synced on. Okay, and one of the cool things that the platform has, even though we're working on local and on server, all dates are in UTC. So whatever you have on your mobile device, it depends on your time zone, but whenever things are being connected in the server, they will all use UTC, Universal Time. I don't know what UTC means, but it's Universal Time something. And so this is what makes this work. Okay, so let's look how we can yeah, condition coordinated probably. Well, only if we had a place where you could, ask questions and get answers. I'm not gonna be sure. Maybe some of you, one of you, can, look for it and just type it. I would thank you. So let's look at the coordinated universal time. Oh, cool. Oh, okay, coordinated. Actually, coordinated. Okay, okay. Yeah. That's nice. UTC coordinated universal time. Yeah, thanks there. Okay, so on the question, what we can do now is so let's create a field here that is updated on. Okay, the default time is going to be current date time, and then what we're going to say also is active. Okay, because the only way we have to now to delete, it's to soft delete, because or else we have to do we have to do a lot of logic, to get that. So I'm going to just copy paste this from questions to my options. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is to just be able to update this also on the back office. So I'm going to publish this here. Okay, and after I publish this, I'm going to just refresh it on the back office, and I'm just going to do a little bit of tweaks so we can change the as active. Okay, and also the update on. So I got my CS here. Okay, so I'm gonna just refresh it. Okay, all cool. And we got the question. I got the question option. I'm just gonna apply, and now on the question detail, one of the things that I want to do on the question is also add here the is active field. Okay, and when I save, one of the things that I want to do is I'm just gonna set my variable well, whatever am I using here, right? The current list current, the updated on, it's gonna be my cur date time. Okay, why doesn't this is like this? Current question. So okay, cool. Now whenever I change something on my back office, it will change that date. And for my option detail, so let's do the same. Okay, let's just get question option by ID. Question option is active, the same. Okay, this goes here, and on the save, I'm just gonna have, maybe it's faster like this, set variable, get question by ID, list current, updated on. Okay, current data. Cool. Okay, now that I have this, also now I need to change things on this side. Okay, now first thing is I'm just gonna refresh my references. Okay, and now I need to change a little bit the way we're synchronizing. Okay, now let's start with the questions. When I'm syncing the questions, so I need to send to the server what was my latest sync, in order to get that, to give me the information what has changed since my last synchronization. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create here a new table. Let's call it the sync, and I'm just gonna create a last update on. Okay, and what I'm going to do is on my sync question, I'm going to get my last updated on. Okay, and I'm going to use it on my query. Okay, so on the get questions, I'm just gonna, on the filters, I'm just gonna say give me the questions that was updated after my last updated on. Okay, this is cool because you're gonna get everything that's changed, even if it is active or not active. We will deal with that later. Now also I have my sync question options, right? So I'm going to do the same here. Here I'm just going to do my last updated on, right? Oops, not when, on. And I'm just going to say I want all options, but just the ones that were updated after my last updated on. Okay, now that I got this on the local, yeah, I got this here. Okay, this will receive also the last updated on. Okay, this will receive also. Okay, and here I'm gonna send my last updated on, and I'm gonna delete the delete all. I'm just gonna leave my create or update. Okay, here I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna do the last updated on. I'm gonna just delete the delete all. And last but not least, on the offline data sync, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the last sync that I have. Okay. Get, let's say, last sync, max records 1. And let's just say here, last updated on, last updated on. And what we need to do after this is I'm going to just set my variable get last sync last updated on to cur date time. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna create or update sync. Okay, so the first time I'm gonna create, okay, set cur time, and after the first time I'm just gonna get the update. Okay, so let's see if this is working. Okay. Shouldn't we return from the server the current update time to store in the local table to guarantee we are using the same time zone, the server time zone, and not a device current time? Well, there's a sync between whenever you send dates from a device to the server, that date is transformed in UTC. So you don't have the risk of sending a date in a different time zone that's gonna mess up. What could happen is that between the time that you do the query and you do this get cur date time and sync and store it in your local, it's possible that something would change. So in that case, your suggestion makes sense. So we should use the date that is coming from the server. I think that's probably, I wasn't thinking about that. I was just afraid with the problem of the different time zones, and I know UTC solves that, but what you're saying is actually very to the point. So let's just see if this works, and then just we can change that really quick to see it working. So let's call this let's just remove, let's just clear the site data all over again. Let's just republish this again. Okay, and let's open here, and well, hopefully again we are not seeing anything different, except the fact that we didn't get anything. Which is interesting. Okay, so let's see if anything was synchronized. We got the local, okay, it's empty, but the sync, okay, the sync has a last update. Okay, so something is being messed up here. So we're getting the last sync that was empty. I was getting this last updated on. Get questions by updated on. They were updated bigger than last updated on. Okay, so let's just check here the data that we have. What we have here in the dates. Okay, so the problem is, of course, so we've changed this, right? But we didn't do anything here. It doesn't make sense. So let's put 2024 08 27. Well, I don't know what time is in UTC, but it doesn't matter. Let's just do it like this. Let's put 00. I really like this feature of changing data. It's my favorite feature. Is one of my favorite features, probably my favorite feature in the platform, because let's see now that we have this. Um, let's just really quick here. Let's apply. Okay, let's just clear the data. Again, clearing the data is just while developing, right? When we are doing this um, on a regular application that's actually then in production, we cannot be doing this all the time, right? Or we cannot even do this. So it's just here for development purposes. So as you can see, it has downloaded the information, that the questions and the question options. Okay, just to make a little test here, let's just change this. For example, well, let's remove the tournament. Oops. Let's remove the tournament. And let's say, well, if we remember this tournament, let's say it's not active anymore. And indoor, let's say, label very indoor. Okay, save. Okay, cool. This should have changed the updated time. Let's come here. Let's go to the home page again, right? Because this should be doing the resync. And now that we're going to register the match, the kind of match that we have, it didn't work. I know why it didn't work, but let's go to the indoor and we'll get back in a second. Yeah, very indoor, it's working. Okay. So yeah, I'm changing the update on my back office. So the code that I did on the back office, whenever I'm saving, I'm setting that. Okay, I'm setting that here. Okay. So everything that I change will have this. Now, what I forgot to do, and this we are always forgetting something, is that when I get the question, now I also want only the ones that are active. So I need to create is active here on my local, okay? Because I don't have it. So is active, okay? Is active, cool. Now I'm just gonna get the ones that are active. Also here on the multiple, I'm gonna get the options that are also active, right? Oh, this one is still going to the server. Oh, I wasn't noticing this. Okay, so I'm gonna change this really quick, and I'm gonna get the local database. I'm gonna get my options, and the filters. I'm gonna have the question ID equals my question ID, and it needs to be active. Okay, cool. Okay, get question options. Okay, let's delete this one. Let's delete this one. And why do I have to? Okay, question option. I don't have it. Yes, because I have the local. So I'm just going to change this to question. True change will work. And then I'll get back to the local again. Okay, cool. Now that I have this, let's see if anything changed. Maybe not. Let's see if it is being mapped on the server side of the synchronization. Sync questions. No, it's not. See? Okay. So whenever we have a new field, we need to make sure that all of this is being taken care on the synchronization. So going back here, once again, cleaning the storage. We're just gonna run this again and do another exercise. So I'm gonna just, log in here. And now hopefully tournament has disappeared. It has, right? But if I come here to the tournament, let's just activate it again. Let's just save it and just go here back to the home page. and register the match details, we now have the tournament. And let's look at the let's look here at the oops, I wanted to I don't know if this is recording. So whenever I'm going to the home page, I'm gonna have to preserve log. Okay, so on the sync question options, we don't have anything, right? As you can see, so I'm not doing anything. So if I change something here, like the mix, okay, and now just I didn't have anything. Just let me clear this. I got here the oops, is it on this one? Yeah, sorry. So on this one, see, I only have mix because it was the only thing that changed. So just to prove that the synchronization now it's more performant, and it's not gonna get everything and delete everything and just recreate things over and over. So it's really important that we well take care that all the mappings are correct. But so in the end of the day, so after I you know, if you want to see this the test here, so I'm gonna get the register. I have the tournament, so I can even say that I'm offline, and if I pick something, I'm going to get the next question and I'm able to answer it. Okay, so everything now is on local, so even it being here offline, it doesn't cause me any problems because I'm losing the local storage. Although now I failed with an error because I have things here that are going to server side, but in this case now I don't need to do anything because I have my information here. Okay, so hope you enjoy this, at least as much as I did. I'm really sorry, like I said, I'm a little bit rusty here, so I had to look and to debug for things, so I hope it wasn't too boring. So thank you so much for all of you that stayed awake to see this session. It's really good to be doing this and having company there, to make me stay on my toes and actually help me with interesting questions. So in this session we got, we improved a little bit our application. We now have the number of questions that we have. That's going to change while we're navigating the wizard. Everything is coming from server side, but it's using local storage. We also are taking our images from a CDN instead of having them in our module taking space. So I think that's it. On the next episode, we will continue working on this. All of this content will be uploaded on YouTube, and then all the code will be available also in GitHub. So check it out if you're interested. So to everyone, I promise you, I'll be working to get Bazinga, to do stuff here, to do his appearances. It was actually, is it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday was Bazinga's 11th birthday. So congratulations to Bazinga. Have a great night, everyone, for the ones that are watching live. Thank you very much for being here, and see you in the next episode. So thank you very much.